What's up, guys? So today I'm just going to do like a quick how to do an oil change type deal. First of all, jumping into this really quickly, shop's a mess. I'm going to get right into the nitty gritty, show you guys just what you need to be aware of and how to do this if you're kind of new to this stuff, or if you're first time buying a higher mileage vehicle such as this one, show you a few tips and tricks of things to keep track of. So first things first, if you don't know, your oil cap will tell you what kind of oil to run. On Coyotes, we do not run 520 anymore. Ford says not to. They now like to run 550, so that is what we have purchased. One of the next things is you'll notice here this oil level dipstick. Before you even start your oil change, the first thing you should do is be checking your oil level, especially on your high mileage vehicles, before you change the oil. You need to know how much is missing, how low is it before you drain it. Once you drain it, you'll never know how full or low it is.
One eternity later.
As you can see by checking mine, there is nothing on there. It's pretty dry. So I just put about 3,500 miles on this thing without checking the oil. As you can see, it's low. So 156,000 miles, it needs a top up. So while you're under the hood, check everything else, check your coolant, check your brake fluid. Do not add brake fluid. If it's low, you need to inspect your brakes. It's another tip most people don't notice. People's like, oh, it's low, just add it. No, never add brake fluid, ever. You shouldn't have a leak. If you have a leak, you have bigger problems. If it's low, check your pads, check your rotors, check your battery for any kind of corrosion. Mine is clean. Check your washer fluid. I'm not worried about that stuff tonight. Tonight, we're just doing an oil change. You should also check your air filter while you're here. I've checked mine recently. It's clean. I know it's clean. OCD be getting us. So, moving on to the underside. All right, so underneath the truck, the first thing you want to check is you want to find your drain bolt. We found our drain bolt right here at the back of the oil pan. So, really easy to get to. Next, you want to find your oil filter. On these, the oil filter is kind of in the front. It's a little hidden up here. Right there. So this has got a drain. It's supposed to come down this way. The last time I changed oil on this, if I remember correctly, it went straight out the back and nothing came out the front. So we'll see how that goes. But one thing to keep in mind, whenever you break your drain bolt loose, it shouldn't take a whole lot of force. You don't want this super tight. You will strip the pan out and you'll be putting an oil pan on it. We don't want to do that. Mine was loose. It's already loose. The next thing I want to do, make sure I got a glove. Move this out of the way. Get attacked by the broom. Get attacked by the broom again. But once you start draining the oil, you want to watch it for any kind of metal flakes or how dirty it is. Check the overall condition of the oil. And for us, it's pretty dark. However, it is dark with no metallic flake in it, so it does look good. How's she look, Paul?
Not bad.
Certified okay?
Yep.
Certified good enough to get by for today?
Good enough to get by.
All right, I'll take that. You can stop it. So while you're underneath your car, if you're under one of these trucks like we are right now, yes, I'm on a lift to make my day-to-day life easier, plus I have one. If you don't, you can do this laying on your back without jack stands unless your truck's lowered. Most of these trucks are lifted, so they fit pretty easy. You want to check everything from your transmission bushings, your drive shaft, check your slop in it, make sure your exhaust isn't busted or broken, all your clamps and stuff are tight, bushings, bearings, and all that stuff is good. You're just going to do a quick overview, make sure everything is in good shape, your shocks aren't leaking, nothing like that. That's just something that you should be checking every time you're underneath it because you're not under it often. So you can find issues then and prevent bigger issues later on down the road. So we're going to let that down. We're going to put our drain bolt back in. Yes, it was still trickling. You don't have to get every single drop out. It ain't the end of the world. You put enough good with the bad and it's all good, right? So then you're going to wipe off your your oil residue. Me personally, I like to use brake clean, but I'm one-handing right now, so I'll clean it in a minute. After this, Paul will get it for us. Knock her out there, Paul. Just don't spray me in the eyeballs. All right, that's good. So now, we're going to come up here to our oil filter, and we are going to take it loose. I do believe Paul has already gotten it loose for us. I lied. You didn't, did you? All right, so now thanks to my assistant Paul for helping us, we are going to go ahead and crack this loose and see what I don't catch. Pretty good feeling I'm gonna miss a whole bunch. Where is she gonna go? The world may never know. Huh? Yeah, the wind's vicious tonight. Oh, there she is. Like I said, coming out the back. Nowhere even remotely close to where it should be. You can't even see it in the video. Yeah, coming right out the back. Apparently there is a drain in the back. I thought it came out the back last time. Never come out the front, not at all. So, I'm gonna go ahead, get this filter unscrewed up here. Ta-da! Now, we're gonna put the new filter in. A lot of the times people will tell you to put oil on it to make sure that it seats correctly. Well, if you look, it's got oil on it already where I just took it off. So we're not gonna put oil on the gasket. But the most important part is to check it for the gasket. You wanna make sure that the gasket actually comes off of your oil filter. If it does not, and it stays on the vehicle, and you double gasket this, you're gonna have a bad day. So screw this back on, just hand tight. You don't need to torque it to the moon. You want to make sure that it's easy to get off next time. Be nice to yourself. Also, tech tip, I almost forgot. Thank goodness I've got Paul to help remind me. Write your date and your mileage, 384. That way, if by some chance you sell the car, get in an accident and it goes to Copart or some other insurance auction, whoever buys the vehicle says, wow, this thing was last changed this long ago. Just a small thing that even if you just forgot when you last changed your oil, you can look at that and say, oh, I remember when I changed it. Just helpful for everybody in the future. But now, last but not least, double check your oil filter. Make sure it's not loose. It doesn't need to be torqued to the moon, just not loose. And I just checked mine, but grab your wrench and double check your nut, your bolt, and make sure that it is not loose, because it is very, very easy for someone to leave this loose, and then you will have a very bad day a couple weeks from now. All right, so the truck holds 8 quarts. We're gonna put 7 in it, start it, let it run for 15-20 seconds. At that time, it'd be a very, very good idea for you to climb underneath the truck, check the drain bolt, check the oil filter, make sure they're not leaking, then come back up here, turn the truck off, vehicle off, and check the oil level. At that point, then you will add the last quart or 2 quarts or 3 quarts, whatever it ends up needing, especially if you don't know entirely what it calls for. This truck I know will hold 8, sometimes it'll hold 8.5, but we're gonna go ahead and put 7 in it because it's easier to add it than it is to take it out. All right, so we started the truck just now. We'll let it run for just 15 seconds or so. I'm now gonna check the oil level. Dipstick out, wipe it down, put it back in. Make sure it seats 100%. Check your level. We are at the bottom line. The bottom line usually means add exactly 1 quart. We put 7 in. I'll add the 8th quart real fast. If I can get my life together here. Alright. Last quart's in. Dipstick all the way in. Check your level. It is just barely on the dot. So, or at the top of the line. That's exactly 8 quarts, right where it's supposed to be. I'm gonna save my napkin for roadside checks. I also keep a spare quart. You never know when you're going to need it. That's pretty much it. That's an oil change in a nutshell. Just don't forget to put your cap on. Don't forget to add your oil. Don't forget to check your drain bolt, make sure it's tight. Your oil filter, write your mileage. Oh, as a matter of fact though, I remember one more step. All right, now we're on the inside of the truck. Turn the key on. You're gonna let it cycle through. Every manufacturer is different. If you're watching this for a different manufacturer, you're gonna have a different setup. On the Fords, you're gonna go to settings, vehicle, oil life reset, set to 100. Press and hold the OK button, and it will finish resetting right about the time it disconnects your phone. And that's it. Once your oil life is reset, you can either put you a sticker up here on the window to remind yourself, or you can just remember. And my goal was to try to sequence everything out to equal in the middle. I'm going to change the next one at 160. At 160,000, oh, psych, just kidding. I'm going to try to cycle mine out at 160,000. I'll do my next oil change. So every 5,000 after that, 160, 65, 70. I'm going to try to stay on that consistent schedule. So that's my plans for mine. I hope somebody finds this useful. Kind of rudimentary. I know majority of people are going to have no use for this information. However, even just resetting your oil life, there's a ton of people I deal with on a day-to-day basis that just don't understand how simple it is to hit the OK button, the ups, the downs, the left, the rights on the steering wheel, and be done. So, if anything, I hope somebody finds some use from this. Like, subscribe, come back for any other quick videos, tech tips. Come check out when we do the turbo on the F-150. Yeah, this thing's getting a turbo, so come back and check it out. Until then, make better choices.